I just would like to find out if the proponent would accede to some clarificatory questions.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Being from Mr. Speaker, the proponent being from Cebu and just recently had gone to full Hajj, may I know to what extent is the burden on our pilgrims in getting vaccination for the Hajj?
Mr. Speaker, the burden is that the vaccination is sent by the NCMF to the Bureau of Quarantine in Zamboanga at an undetermined date, and then the pilgrims are given 2 to 1 day to be there for that one vaccination, and then so they will have to immediately travel from Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. And if they miss that schedule, then it would require another tedious process of coordination. So this is what we want the NCMF and the Bureau of Quarantine to have coordination mechanisms so that maybe next time they can hold the vaccination in Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi, and it will not have to require the pilgrims to go to Zamboanga on short notice.
Mr. Speaker, is the proponent aware that this problem is not only for Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi, but even for the mainland of Barm? They are also having this sort of problem. Is the proponent, Mr. Speaker, aware of this?
Mr. Speaker, the consideration that the author had placed on this is that the ones from Tawi-Tawi, Sulu, and Basilan need to take the boat or the airplane. The vaccination from the mainland, either in Cotabato or Lanao, would only require traveling by land. So in terms of the difficulty, it would still look manageable. But the challenge really is in the island provinces, because we know the boat from Zamboanga to Jolo is very difficult. We know how long the boat from Tawi-Tawi is also very difficult. So this is the reason why this resolution had focused on the island provinces. And also in my discussion with the Bureau of Quarantine and consultation with other staff, they did not mention to me the difficulties in the mainland provinces.
Notwithstanding that this problem is also experienced by the pilgrims from the mainland, each DOH Region 9, which is deputized by NCMF to do the vaccination for the Basulta area?
Mr. Speaker, it is the Bureau of Quarantine who is just requested by the NCMF to administer the vaccine. But the procurement is through the NCMF. So they send it to the Bureau of Quarantine, and they ask the Bureau of Quarantine to inject the pilgrims. Thus, the sheikhs are given a schedule, say 2 days from now, 3 days from now, please bring all your pilgrims to Zamboanga City at 7 in the morning for the vaccination. And during that time, in May 9, the pilgrims were already there, more than 100 at 7 a.m., but it took them up to 3 p.m. for the vaccination because of issues of vaccines that were delivered that were not sealed. So the Bureau of Quarantine did not want to administer it. So again, the pilgrims were stressed under the heat of the sun with no lunch pack. So we are hoping and appealing that by this resolution, the NCMF and the Bureau of Quarantine can talk about mechanisms early on so that next year there will be systems to implement the vaccination in Basilan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, these island provinces, without needing to go to Zamboanga, as well as ensuring the quality and the integrity of the vaccines.
Mr. Speaker, is the proponent saying that the problem is with the NCMF?
Mr. Speaker, I am not saying that the problem is with the NCMF. I am saying that this resolution is asking the NCMF and the Department of Health Bureau of Quarantine to adopt and institute mechanisms to minimize the burden. So we are asking the DOH, BOQ, and the NCMF to talk and institute mechanisms. Sila na po ang bahala mag-usap, paano nila gagawin. Ang importante, ang outcome niya is less stressful and more convenient sa mga pilgrims natin.
Mr. Speaker, is the proponent also aware that this problem has been going on for all these years?
Mr. Speaker, I believe that innovation in governance is one of the strengths of the Bangsamoro government, especially with the Bangsamoro, the PTA, addressing the problems of delayed salaries that existed for 20 years, and we were able to solve it. So, I believe, Mr. Speaker, there is hope in innovation and governance and dialogue, and with this resolution, early on, I think there might be innovative ways that the NCMF and the Bureau of Quarantine can institute to ease the burden on the pilgrims.
Mr. Speaker, I'm asking the question because this problem, this kind of mechanism has been going on for all these years. And the pilgrims have been facing this problem all these years also. And I'm happy that the proponent is coming up with this resolution. But is the proponent proposing this resolution that the NCMF and DOH will go down to Tawi-Tawi, Sulu, and Basilan so that it will be easy, no, for the pilgrims to do the vaccination for the pilgrims?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, this resolution is requesting them to minimize the burden on the pilgrims from Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. And so it will depend now on their ability to provide mechanisms. Inshallah, since this resolution is early for next year, maybe they can find ways to safely bring these vaccines to the island provinces and have the vaccinations there.
Mr. Speaker, in the past, did NCMF and DOH also did the vaccination in these islands in the past?
I am not aware, Mr. Speaker.
And I don't also remember that NCMF and DOH had gone to Tawi-Tawi for the vaccination. I'm asking this question, Mr. Speaker, because I believe that this resolution is filed because we have an existing problem. And will it be possible for us? The proponent is saying that the NCMF and DOH can have innovations, can have possible mechanism to lessen the burden of the pilgrims. But will it be also good for us, Mr. Speaker, if we can already mention in the resolution that, suggesting to them that they should have the vaccination in Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, and Sulu, rather than just making it open to them. I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, because if the NCMF and the DOH are aware of this problem or would like to address this problem, they should have done this long before. And I would appreciate the proponent, Mr. Speaker, that we came up with this resolution. But I'm suggesting to make it much stronger that we say to them, let's have a devaccination in Sulu, Basilan, and Tawi-Tawi, rather than just, allowing them to think. They may not be able to think about it, because if they have been thinking about this, they should have done this long before, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the reason why we did not specifically immediately state that it be implemented in Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi is that the considerations and reasons on transporting vaccines are factors. So that is why we placed it on a general note, because we believe that if this will go to the attention of the top management of the NCMF and the DOH, and they plan it early, then these mechanisms can be done, but the operational discussion should be on their level.
Mr. Speaker, I think it is more reasonable if we can already state in the resolution. If we say that it is still, we still have enough time, that even for the transportation of the vaccines can be addressed later. But if that innovation includes the transportation of the vaccines, then it can be done. It can be done. But we say that this should be done. This should be done. So, Mr. Speaker, that's all. But in the period of amendments, I would like to move for some amendments to specifically mention that the vaccination can be done in the island provinces. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The author agrees with the idea of the gentleman from Tawi-Tawi, Mr. Speaker.